the primary way for humanitarian aid to be coming in to Israel, and also for humanitarian assisters to rotate in and out of Gaza, and also those needing medical attention. Just this week, I think it was something like 300 children and their caregivers or guardians were with them as well, and were brought out, and they went over through the Allenby Bridge into Jordan for continual medical assistance. What are we talking about? What's going in? First of all, there is no limitation whatsoever about what and how much can go in. I'll put a caveat on that. What kind of foods can go in, what kind of medical can go in. We want as much to go in as possible, and our job here is to help facilitate that through the international organizations, the United Nations, and other groups. The United Nations is around 1/3 of the aid going in. They're responsible for about that. And international aid organizations are responsible for the rest. There's also some private enterprise of trade going in. Maybe I'll open up and you could ask some of your questions, and maybe that'll help you to help me get an idea of what you're looking for and what kind of information you would like, and I want to just tell you what I think.
How many trucks are going per day to the Gaza?
On average, from Israel through Kerem Shalom, my arm, I don't have a map with me, my arm is the Gaza Strip going from here, going south in this direction, and this is the Mediterranean. Kerem Shalom is over here. We have other crossings, the Erez crossing and the Zikim crossing over here, and some other crossings coming through here, primarily through Zikim in the north and Kerem Shalom here in the south. On average, around 300 trucks a day. Trucks like these trucks you see right behind us, carrying approximately, depending on the size of the truck, around 20 pallets of aid, 80% of it food. The other 20% can be medicines or tents, clothing, and whatnot that's going in.
There's an allegation saying that most of the goods are being looted by on the other side. Are these being looted by Hamas or some other people?
So, unfortunately, and this is a war situation, looting is a part of that as well. There is looting. We've been dealing with this looting already for, well, the war started in just under 700 days ago. And there's still, by the way, let's not forget this, here in Israel, we're still cognizant of the fact that there are 48 hostages still being held by Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. We can't forget that. Already within a month of the beginning of the war, we renewed the opening of this crossing here, and there has been looting throughout the whole entire war of everything going in. We have managed to bring down that looting significantly through the offices of the GHF as well, the Gazan Humanitarian Foundation, and they're bringing in, and the looting is consistent. Are actually, they're saying the important thing is that the aid gets in. So yes, there may be self-distribution, looting going on, but aid is still getting in. Beforehand, Hamas was getting a huge amount of that. They were going in. Today, they're trying. They're not stopping their efforts. Yet, because of the way that we've been changing things, they're looting. That looting, and Hamas getting advantage of it, has significantly gone down. Today, we're seeing when people go up to get the food from the GHF, we see some Hamas members as individuals are going in, yet they're not going in as Hamas raiding a whole truck or raiding a whole area, and that's a significant change for the better.
Can you tell us something about the water supply to Gaza?
The
Water supply to
Gaza?
The broader supply to Gaza?
Water.
The water supply, a very important issue. Actually, a water pipeline was just brought in from Egypt, just finished the line for the United Arab Emirates, together with the Egyptians, and coordinated through us, bringing water into the southern part of Gaza. Another 2 lines at this time are being repaired by Israel, and they should be ready within the next week. There's a line coming into the north as well. Well enough for the entire needs, and at the same time, we're also sending in fuel and an electrical line going in as well from Israel for the desalinization plants. So all together, with the water lines and the desalination plants, the water situation in Gaza has improved incredibly. And not just incredibly, it's the point where there's, it's very hot. We're all standing out here in the sun. People get thirsty. The sun affects us all, and dehydration and whatnot. It's becoming a non-issue.
Can you
You're
explain the
talking about
process?
you're talking about the water lines that are other than for what Israel has been always providing, 3 lines.
First of all, I'm talking about the 3 lines, one from the north, and then 2 are being repaired right now. Those are lines that existed even before.
Yes.
The problem is, Hamas destroyed them on the 7th of October. The
How
2
many
that we're
lines were
repairing.
there and how many were destroyed?
From what I understand, there were 3 lines. I had previously known about some other lines as well, but these may be the 3 primary ones that are going in and whatnot. They've been destroyed by Hamas on the 7th of October, and then the whole world starts screaming there's no water going into Gaza. Well, who should we be talking to this about? We should be talking to Hamas about this, and not the IDF and the Israeli government and the Israeli public, who are saying we need to bring in aid, water, food to those who need it in Gaza. They're actually the same people that Hamas really doesn't care about.
During this humanitarian process, how many trucks going to the Gaza Strip?
Like I said, on average a day, right now, at least for the last couple months,
Altogether.
300 trucks going in.
Altogether,
Altogether,
during
300.
whole
Whole
process.
process.
90.
That's the whole.
The whole process, I believe the number was
90,000.
90,000 trucks through the end of 2002. Wait, excuse me for 1 second. 102,000 trucks. Oh, excuse me for 1 second. I'm cutting this 1 second.
It was 90,000 trucks and 1.7 million
Okay.
tons.
Okay. So we're talking. When we first of all, it's 102,000 trucks since the beginning of the war. Now this is measured in 3 different ways, by the way, and that's why it gets very confusing. We can measure it in terms of the number of trucks. We can measure it in terms of the number of pallets, and we can measure it in terms of the weightage. But then we get into a problem. All 3 of them are correct. By the way, a truck here has about 20 pallets. A truck on the Gaza side has anywhere between 16 and 18 pallets. And weight-wise, how do you differentiate between the weight of water bottles, and the weight of toilet paper? So all 3 of those ways of measuring are correct, and all 3 of them are also problematic. So when we talk about this, we need to talk about it in terms of the significance of the quantities. Incredible amounts have gone through. When I talk about 102,000 trucks, 102,000 of these since the beginning of the war, an average of 300 of these. That's just this. By the way, there's also food and humanitarian aid being airlifted into Israel, into Gaza, excuse me, coming primarily from Jordan, United Arab Emirates, and European also that are starting to airlift things in. It's significantly less than the trucks, and there are more. It's somewhat more dangerous as well, but it's another way that aid is being brought in. It's not as efficient as the trucks, and therefore we're very interested in many trucks getting in. Now, where's the problem? This 102,000 trucks going in, or the 300 every day, which I think is something more easy to understand. These 300 going in, they're going through, as you can see, they're going to go in, they're going to be checked, then they're going to be dropped off, and then trucks from the Gaza side are going to come in and pick them up, and then put them in a holding area in Gaza. Where's the problem? It's not always taken from the Gazan side. Today, we have hundreds of trucks worth of food and and clothing and tents. The medical usually gets through quickly, but the food, sometimes sitting out there for as long as 2 or 3 months in this heat, or in the winter, the rain and the cold, and they're not getting out. We're pushing for the international organizations to bring more trucks in. We're bringing in supplies for them. We're bringing in, for those trucks, spare parts, tires. It's not an easy task they have. I'll give them that. The international organizations have a very difficult task. Unfortunately, there's a war going on. We didn't choose this war. This war was chosen for us. And we're trying to process this war in such a way that as little possible is happening to the civilian population. But it is happening. I wouldn't want to be a Gazan in Gaza living under Hamas rule before the war started, and I certainly wouldn't want to be a Gazan in Gaza today. Yet there's a long jump between being in Gaza today and being uncomfortable and not having proper homes in many areas. We've seen the destruction, the pictures. They're not good pictures. Hamas has brought this on them, 100%. But one thing I can tell you, since the second week, I've been hearing cries from organizations and people who are against us, already talking about starvation in Gaza, imminent starvation. I've been hearing that now. We're almost 700 days, almost 2 whole years. And I've been hearing this already for that 2 whole years, less 2 months. So we're doing everything we can to bring it in. We're encouraging as much as possible to come in. And we call on the international organizations to bring in more trucks and to get everything that's coming in to the people of Gaza. Do you want me to explain the process to you on camera as well? Okay, so these trucks are coming in. They're being scanned, like an X-ray, a giant X-ray machine. And then those trucks are going to go into a large area. The large area has a gate here and a gate there. When this gate is open, these gates are closed. This is Gaza, this is Israel. Okay, so the trucks are coming in. The trucks are going one at a time or two or whatever. They're being unloaded with high-lows, forklifts. The trucks come out, and truck after truck after truck will leave its problem. They come out, they come back out to here, and then the area is scanned one more time, and then this gate is closed. And then this gate is opened. And the trucks from the Gaza side, from the United Nations and other NGOs, are coming in, and they're loading up with other high-lows, and then those trucks go out, and then right over here is another holding area. This is where the cork is right now in the bottle. Right now, it's being stuck here, and it's not being taken out into the rest of Gaza. So it comes in through here. Both sides are sealed off from each other, so when this is closed, this is open, and vice versa. And from here, it goes to the holding area where they just put everything that they've just taken out of here, time after time after time again. And then here, you've got the bottleneck. Here's where it's not coming out, and here's where we need more trucks, more individuals, more drivers, and we're doing everything possible to coordinate the transfer of these goods to the population centers. At the same time, in other areas, the GHF is also bringing in every day. They're bringing in over 2 million meals a day. All right, they're being very successful. Yet more needs to be done. Okay, and that's why. And I'm going to I can't reiterate this more than enough times. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. We have no limitations whatsoever on the amount of food that we're allowing to come in. We want the food going into Gaza.
According to your view, how long a truck takes to go through this scanning system?
The scan itself is very quick, and then the whole process It's fairly quick. It depends. It depends on what's going on security-wise and whatnot. It can be anywhere from 45 minutes to a couple hours. It depends. But as you saw, we saw a large number of trucks here when you arrived. And those trucks aren't here anymore. Those trucks have left already, and you haven't been here for 2 or 3 hours. So these are probably the last of the trucks. Are there any other questions from you?
No.
Just one question from me that we can clearly see, sir, that there are some smuggling happening inside Gaza.
There are attempts. First of all, there are attempts to smuggle in within these trucks. Attempts to smuggle in. Yesterday, so I can talk about it, we uncovered the equivalent in dollar terms of probably around $800,000 worth of cigarettes being transferred, smuggled into. Cigarettes are not considered humanitarian aid, although some smokers may think that it is humanitarian. However, cigarettes are not. And like in any war zone, cigarettes often become the currency. And so these were going in. Now, if these cigarettes were getting brought in, these cigarettes were getting brought in for Hamas. Hamas will transfer them into hard currency, and then therefore they'll be able to do much more than they were doing right now. We need to talk a little bit about this as well, is that Hamas, wait, hold on for a second.
Yeah. I'll sit here so you can comfortably explain it. I'll
Okay.
get a cameraman as soon as possible.
Okay.
Just,
So I was talking about smuggling. And it was
we have to take it properly with some.
Okay, and we have like 2 minutes.
Okay, wait.
Okay, and fine.
Did you get what you needed? Oh.
හොඳයි ඔන්න People's TV අපි අවසාන වශයෙන් මේ පිළිබඳව විස්තර වැඩිදුර තොරතුරු අපි ඔබට පසුව ගෙනෙන්නම්. දැනට සජීවී දර්ශනයක් එතුමා සමග ගන්න හිතුවා. ඔහු තමයි මේ ආධාර බෙදා දීමේ වැඩසටහන භාරව ක්‍රියා කරන මේ ස්ථානයේ. එනම් බොහොම ස්තුතියි දැනට මේ ලයිව් වැඩසටහනින් සමගන්නව නැවත සහභාගී වෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙමි. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On camera. So explain me that we can clearly see that aids are going through a very rapid way. So we can clearly see that, but still there's a problem inside Gaza that Hamas is smuggling these lootings. So
Well,
what we can do and what's happening in what's going on inside Gaza?
Like any terrorist organization, Hamas is also a crooked organization. They're thieves. And what they're doing, they're smuggling. And that's the way they need to, whether it be drugs or whether it be any way in order to cash out of this as well, because they need that cash in order to continue what they're doing, in order to pay off their fighters as well. Just yesterday, we uncovered the equivalent